one, periodontist foodie Marcus Carnoff, along with his culinary queen wife Jenny, pine over two things: to get his memoir published and their final Epicurean conquest, to dine on their ultimate indulgence, the endangered French songbirds ortolan. It is days until this feast, when it is almost waylaid by their granddaughter Randy, who stumbles upon these birds quite accidentally. Now frantic but careful not to get her loving grandparents in trouble, Randy consults her teacher, animal activist Shannon Todd, who now takes matters into her own hands. When she visits the Carnoff home, Shannon confirms her suspicions that yes, they are in fact planning to eat the birds, an illegal act that Shannon feels is also deeply immoral. Afraid that Shannon will rat them out, Marcus and Jenny decide to hold this third-grade teacher prisoner in their panic room, only until they swallow their ortolan feast. Post-meal leaves this husband and wife with differing opinions, possibly for the first time since their onset of their edible excursion. She's ecstatic with the pleasure she experienced and hungry for more. He, however, has not met his expectation and perceives something disturbing. Adding to the atmosphere of dissatisfaction, Marcus confesses that he has a medical condition which is forcing him to diet. Jenny is horrified. In fact, it's this and the fact that they've eaten nearly everything worth eating on the planet that drives Jenny to suggest something that even Marcus has trouble swallowing. Let's eat the teacher.
You know, it makes me feel the worst.
A diet-induced hunger that shreds your innards like a rusty chainsaw?
Other than that, this is the day we actually see Randy.
Well, we had to cancel. We can't have her snooping around.
It's clever.
Why don't we take her to lunch?
Leave the protein alone? No. Protein is sleeping.
No. Shh.
Grammy!
Sweetie.
Gramps! I'm sorry, guys. I didn't want to bother you, so I used the key under the mat. But I left a book I needed.
Sweetie, it's fine. Sweetie, surprise! I'm taking you to lunch, and then I'll buy you.
When she was here, did Miss Todd tell you where she was going next?
No, why?
She hasn't been in school. I heard some teachers say they're going to the police.
Classic overreaction.
It is a hyperbolic world.
Hey, KFC, to the palace of putrid poultry.
Did she say anything about...
What, Kitty?
About anything?
It was a great meeting, a love fest.
Now, festering fowl, come.
Baby, those turns that we had, you didn't mention them to Miss Todd. Because if you did tell her or anyone,
like the police,
for example, that would make things for us
complicated.
And my favorite grandchild wouldn't do anything to complicate the lives of her loving grandparents.
Never.
You are so sweet. Isn't she, Gramps?
You're sugar. Let's blow this popsicle stand.
And Miss Todd is somewhere nice and safe, and the birdies are long gone. They're just flying off to the horizon. And just as you think, that's it. That's the end. You see, there's still another horizon to conquer. And they soar and bring more music than you could even ever imagine.
Fine, Fuzzy. You're right. Happy? Showering me with superb food, ensconcing me in this beautiful room, praising my flawless skin. letting me win at Scrabble, I thought it was because they had real feelings for me. And when I saw Marcus scrutinize my body, I saw hunger in his eyes. But you're right. He wants to eat me. And not in a good way. Time for your math lesson, Fuzzy. 7. That's how many days I have been trying to talk or sneak my way out of here. Absolute 0. That's how much help you've been. Hey. Flatters big fat male ego, and he'll free us for sure, were your exact words. No. The only effective ploy was my opening line. You're the smartest man I ever met. It hooked him.
Please, smartest. Maybe one of the smartest, but.
See? That's it. Your modesty. Another part of your effortless perfection.
I'm hardly perfect. I do, however, strive for perfection.
Mission accomplished, big fella. And of course, Jenny is flawless. Almost.
She almost?
She's desensitized to you. Don't you find her awfully critical?
I'm delighted that she has standards.
But you're peerless. You're walking electricity. I mean, you must have studied ballet.
No.
Well, you move with the sinewy grace of a panther. Surely Jenny must have
No.
told you.
No. At bar mitzvahs, I've won many prizes for best chicken dance.
Well, please. Stunning.
It's the thinking man's hokey pokey.
Don't you see? We almost had him. All right, fine. Maybe it was a little over the top, but I thought the poem and the dance would persuade him. In the last few days, inspired by your volumes of verse and our shared passion for rare poesy, I choreographed a solo dedicated to your ortolan feast. And in that the ritual is ornithological, my Ode to an Ortolan is suggested by John Keats's Ode to a Nightingale.
Oh, it's his favorite.
Well, may I? My heart soars, and I'm glad I'm here. My bladder swells so full of beer. My feet are happy at this chance to praise you and the ortolan in dance. Oh, for another cold one to toast this tasty treat. Oh, for another drumstick, 'cause tender is the meat. Are you the one who pooped on me, who dropped its birdie dirt? Hail to thee, blithe spirit, bird thou never wert. Darling, I listen for your mellow voice. I've been half in love with easeful death, but you've blown life into my soul with your healthy gums and your minty breath.
It's very good. I gotta go.
What, you see a slab of beef jerky, but there's still so much more.
I'm sure there is.
My Messiah, under my surface there are rivers of passion just waiting to be released.
Well, you release your rivers. I gotta do the dishes.
Fuck you, Fuzzy. You little bitch. This'll work for sure. This is a perfect plan. Jenny is our savior. She's the nurturer. You'll see, this little Weisenheimer. Once she sees how much agony I have been through, she'll never be able to add to it. Come in. Hey.
Hi.
Oh. Such hands. Are you sure this isn't too much trouble?
It's a pleasure, and I like to give pleasure.
Oh. Well, it's time the world knew what these hands could do. Through Vegantastic, I'll trumpet that these hands belong to the best vegan chef, and that'll sizzle through the internet. A small thanks for the compassion and food.
Well, that's very sweet.
You know,
What?
your attitude towards pleasure, when you ate the ortolans, did it give you pleasure?
Oh, yes.
Maybe someday I can make joy my guide.
That's tough for you?
Well, it's always been hard to allow myself enjoyment. It's like I agree with the world. I don't deserve pleasure.
That is nonsense. You are an extremely lovely young woman. What's the matter?
No one's ever,
Surely your friends and family must tell you that all the time.
Fuzzy is my only friend, and she can be awfully critical. As for my family,
Right, right. Randy said that you were...
parent-free. Shortly after my birth, I was thrown into a dumpster outside a trailer park in Joplin, Missouri.
Poor baby.
A pack of feral dogs happened on my brood incubator, and one of them dragged me out until she realized that I was alive, and she made me one of her own. I mean, I don't know if it was her innate kindness, or she sensed my desperate need, or it was just the extraordinary amount of facial hair that I had at the time. But of course, you know, the reason I value non-human animals as much as human ones is because of, oh, that was my dog stepmom's name. It was the last time I felt any real sense of security. It was, oh, who every night would provide a warm mattress with her soft, luxurious fur and lick me clean. Oh, was the pack beauty. She looked like a less canine version of Rudolph Giuliani. It was a tough life because feral is of the least popular breeds.
So you scavenge for food?
Oh, we ate everything except cilantro. Ugh. I still dream of running with them. The sniffing, the licking, the territory marking. When I was 7, in dog years, not human years, I was almost grabbed by a dog catcher.
And you were never adopted?
No. And you know, that hurt me so deeply. Maybe no one wanted me because I was a little wild, or maybe because I was a little different, or maybe because of the extraordinary amount of facial hair I had at the time. I lived in a series of foster homes, 1,273 to be exact. And my early years were nightmarish because of my extreme learning disability.
Right. Randy told us about it. ADD?
ELR.
ELR?
Elizabethan letter reversal. It's rare, extremely, where some people see and pronounce the letter S, I see and pronounce the letter F. Here's an example, and bear with me because this is extremely hard and it takes a lot of concentration. She sells seashells by the seashore. See, it's very natural for me to say she fell by the fee-for. Fee. Duh! And you can imagine my embarrassment when I was chosen to sing the national anthem in front of the entire student body. I started singing, "Oh, Faye, can you fee?"
Poor baby. Kids can be so cruel. Here.
Dogginess clings to me. I still scratch behind my ear with my foot. Do you want to see?
Maybe later.
Oh. Do you and Marcus do this for each other?
His hands are too delicate.
Yeah, so white. When he eats, he looks like a baby albino rat grappling for a nipple.
Time for your sake skin toner.
Well, suck it to me. Jenny,
Yes.
you're wonderful,
Thank you.
which is why it hurts when Marcus marginalizes your value. It's not always about him. I mean, the poet Robert Creeley had Marcus nailed. Unsure egotist is no good for himself. Do you know who your husband really is? Do you? Marcus is the insecure rich kid from the big white house on the hill.
Wow.
And he has so many toys behind those walls that you're never really sure if he'll actually show up for you. But Jenny, sometimes it's just about you. The most nurturing soul I've ever met and the best vegan chef on the planet.
Well, my cooking has worked wonders on you. You look more relaxed,
Really?
rounder,
Fat? I'm fat?
voluptuous, fresh,
Fresh.
and hair-free.
I shed at 16.
Tired?
Up all night again with that Ortolan chapter. It's a killer. Some things are hard to admit, let alone write.
Oh. Are you sure you're okay with me?
Nonsense. Nothing.
You know, I think I should,
No. Stay.
I'm scared I'm going to lose a finger.
All appendages are safe. Starvation is good. Feeds creativity.
Cool. How's the cream celery?
And chicken. It's luscious. Because the
Caramelized veal sweetbreads, Baudin Blanc, young chanterelles, cranberry beans with a meringue sauce, and Australian baby truffles. I've had better.
I'm thrilled with my meal.
Oh.
You sound like a Russian tennis player.
You know, I just really don't think that this is a good idea.
Guard, please. Sit. I barely noticed that food.
Really?
Sit.
I'm sitting.
Wonderful.
Truffles. You remember that night in September, we unearthed that huge truffle in Calabria and spit roasted goat and dined overlooking the monastery?
Hi, sweetheart, sweetie, please don't, no food talk. Not now, not for a while, please.
You know, if you wanted.
Oh. No. This food tastes like health. This food tastes like life.
This food tastes like sawdust.
Oh, thanks for the help.
Marcus, you know.
You're more about food than you do about me, don't you? was never jealous of how you look at any other man, but when I saw you gaze at a handsome Osabuco.
Okay, look, eat what you want. Oh, and you know what? I lied, Marcus. This dish, the depth of flavor, the pure joy, I have never, ever eaten anything better. Never. Huh. Now, you just sit here and you enjoy your celery. And don't worry, my absence is going to have very little impact because take food off the table and we don't have a ton to discuss. Did we wrap ourselves in food because we can't talk about anything real? What we were thinking or feeling, and now there's not even food, just boredom. Oozing under the door like that killer aspic in the Blob.
Boredom. You think that life has to be a perpetual circus?
No, I just think it's a bunch of moments, but they cannot feel empty. And even if they are, you better divert them from the hollowness. This moment matters. This moment matters.
Yes, it does. Here. This is what I've had such a
What?
hard time writing. I pop the bird into my mouth and in isolation I chew. I feel the hot fat pour down my throat, scalding, salving, pleasure pirouetting with pain. Despite my joy, I feel cut off behind the muslin. At the climax of our solitary feasts, I peek at my wife. Her cloths pulled back from her face, her head tilted up, eyes in wide wonder, fat and blood glistening on her lips, in private ecstasy. And I see something I may have suspected, but wouldn't dare accept that.
What?
I've never given her pleasure near to what she's feeling. Never. And I never will. I wish I were the ortolan she's chewing, consumed by her, part of her, until finally we fulfill that promise we made so long ago and we're one.
Oh, wow. 36 years.
Yep.
That's a long time.
Yep.
It's like cooking with the same ingredient all the time. Even if Marcus were, say, foie gras, I mean, how many ways can you make foie?
Let's not talk about this.
You have nothing to hide from me because I'm just an hors d'oeuvre waiting to happen.
No, that's...
No, don't. Please don't stop. I know what I see. I know what's up. Even Miss Fuzzy knows it. See? But there's another way that this can go, Jenny. I have been half a zombie, celebrating death, but you now are midwife to my birth. There's a plan that I have that'll let you reach your flesh-eating dreams. And I don't appeal to you philosophically or morally. I appeal to you culinarily.
I'm listening.
The beer, the massages, they're Kobe beef inspired to encourage what?
That.
And what tuna is prized above all for sushi and sashimi?
Otoro.
For what?
That.
And what does your husband have in buckets that I will never have?
That.
That. And honestly, Jen, can't you just see Marcus with an apple in his mouth?
This is crazy.
If your marriage were a restaurant meal, you'd have sent it back.
Well, what if that's true?
Add a new ingredient.
And what's that?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't have a lesson plan for this. Teach this teacher. Guide me to something new, something without a name. When you see a new dish, what's your response?
To jump in.
And you should. Why cut yourself off? This moment matters.
Yes. Yes, it does. But this is my husband.
Well, you should eat. Reach a final carnivorous goal. I know you won't ever be truly happy until you do. But after that, dream bigger. A vegan dream. With you in your kitchen and I come in with a tray of matsutake mushrooms.
Yum. But 36 years.
And then
It means something.
white winter alba truffles.
Wow.
You prepare the pan, the big one.
My World Cuisine heavy duty carbon steel frying pan.
Unsheath the magnificent knife.
My Moritaka Giotto. But this is my husband.
Shh, no. Slather the pan's shiny bottom with the shimmering surface of Lambda Ultra Premium Extra Virgin Olive Oil.
Oh my.
And then spices. Start with running wild squirrel.
I don't think I could. Marcus is the
Some Queen Anne's lace. Wild carrots.
hop shoots,
Ramps.
prong, and wild spruce tips.
The pan sizzles and the oil's perfume beckons for the bounty.
In.
Spices. You smell it?
Yes.
Earth, smoldering earth, alive.
Yes.
Alive and dead. Sweet decay. The slight scent of licorice and saffron's descant, the mushroom truffle base. It takes you deep somewhere.
Deep into the earth.
Somewhere you've never been before.
And on top, I'd sprinkle edible gold just because I can.
If you don't battle for bliss, you don't deserve it.
Mustache.
Jenny. Jenny, speak up. He's old. He can't hear you.
I'm sorry that I hurt your mustache.
This joke's over. Just get this damn rope off of me, or so help me, I'll
Don't make me slit your throat.
It's a turkey baster.
Don't make me baste your throat.
Shannon, put down that turkey baster.
Nobody wants to get basted. Let's just relax.
This is my life. My life. I am nobody's lunch.
Dinner. We respect you, Shannon.
Well, things have changed, bucko. And change is good. You're tonight's special. I'm having seitan piccata, but Jenny is going to eat. Oh, tell him, Jen. Tell him we agreed to tie him up.
Darling?
Tell him about the sauce.
Really, Jen? Really?
Marcus,
You're my wife, Jenny. My love, my life. I would never, even if I was extremely hungry. We're soulmates. How do you forget all that we shared? Doesn't that mean something to you?
sure, but when she appealed to me as a cook, what separates eating a stranger from eating my husband wasn't a chasm too wide to leap.
On that sacred day we married, we pledged to God to love, honor, and obey, not love, honor, and saute.
That's it. A big reason I am cooking you, Marcus. Jokes like that. You know what? Our marriage is a joke, a stale joke. And this time I have the punchline.
Please promise, publish posthumously. Huh? Wait,
What?
what sauce?
Albert.
You think so?
Slam dunk. What's wrong with Albert?
I saw myself as a horseradishy guy.
You're a Jew. A Jew belongs in horseradish. With a hearty Bordeaux, you're going to be marvelous. Look, Marcus, finally, she'd be stringy.
Really?
Oh, definitely.
But even if we marinate her?
She wouldn't make a decent sloppy Joe. On a purely livestock level, she had me look at you as the physical epitome that you are for your vast adipose.
For those proud flanks, those rippling haunches.
You would taste sensational.
Oh, that may be the nicest thing anybody's ever said to me. You know, I'd almost say okay if my favorite part of the meal weren't the postprandial chat. But you're dead wrong. You can't eat me. You can't.
Really?
Yeah, I wouldn't touch me with a 10-foot pole.
Why not?
Look at me. Look at me. I'm just too old. Don't you understand? I've lived through decades of environmental impurities while eschewing exercise. In my x-ray, my kidney looks like a haggis and my aorta looks like a stuffed derma. Plus, I have spent my adult life up to my elbows in mouths. My God, who knows what hibernating spirochetes I carry around just waiting to spread their kind. Oh, sure, you are willing to eat me, but are you willing to turn your back on your sacred pledge to cook only with the best? Just what do you stand for, Jennifer McCarty Carnoff? How can I be an acceptable protein when I'm almost buzzard bait? I may taste good going down, but I'm guaranteed heartburn.
Miss Todd, you okay?
I'm fine. I'm fine. I just had some out-of-town business.
Good. Boy, I was worried.
No need, sweetie. Did I interrupt your eating?
Just finishing.
What are you having?
Some veggies.
That's all?
And
Yes.
KFC. Extra crispy. And it's good. I can't help it. It's so good. I love it, Miss Todd. More than I ever loved anything or ever expect to love anything. I think I may be an addict. I think you could understand if you could share my mouth right now. I'd marry it if I could. KFC. The most beautiful name I ever heard. And that's like forever. I can't wait to see you back in school.
I can't wait, sweetie. Someone's at the door. I gotta go.
Miss
Bird eaters all.
You're almost eating me. It's the best thing that ever happened to us.
We're talking. We're really talking.
Sweetheart, our marriage had become an old house with dry rot at the foundation. Sometimes it takes an explosion before you can rebuild.
Still mangling a metaphor.
With the best of them. I love you.
I know you do. And I love you too.
I'm sorry for...
Look, we both have stuff to be sorry about. Almost butchering you was...
Not nice. No. That was then. And from now on, I will do anything to make you happy.
You proved it last night.
Who would get me when I snagged that perfect protein for your big meal? walking around down there. Boy, I'm starving.
What makes today different from any other day?
Oh, thank you, Tevye. She wanted to cook for us. I gotta say, I'm glad she's gone. Look, I admire how principled she is.
How earnest.
Lousy with earnestness, but her monomania can inspire migraines. So naturally, I assumed she'd make some like hippy-dippy, humusy, foolish crud, hoping its cosmic purity would cure us. But no. Meat. Oh. Meat.
Yes, it is.
It's
Yes, yes, yes.
terrific.
And you look terrific.
Thanks, Jenny. I've been returning to myself, realizing what I am. A vegan, a teacher, as usual, the promised meal, and a couple other lessons.
What is this?
Lesson 1. Let the meal speak for itself. Bon appetit.
Oh, my.
My Lord.
I've never.
Wow.
Wow, wowie. Wow.
What is this?
I'll tell you, it's the best damn thing I've ever eaten in my life.
It is so, so
Baby veal.
more vibrant.
Well, its flesh is rich enough to last a lifetime, and it's peppered with other lessons.
This is ecstasy.
Heaven.
Lesson 2. Every animal has a family.
What taste.
Lesson 3. There's a price for sacrificing the future on the altar of the present.
Berries. Tastes like berries.
Juniper berries.
Mm-hmm. And
Mandarin.
an orange.
Orange.
Lesson 4. What some call madness is when it serves the holy bravery.
And the very faint taste of
Chicken.
Chicken.
Fried chicken.
fried chicken.
Fried chicken.
And the ultimate lesson. Sup at the table of excess, of rare indulgence, and there is a dreadful bill to pay. Feet, right? Faux, freak.
Great. If I could ask the cast and the writer and everybody to come back, that would be wonderful. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Let me activate our chat. So,
Playwright.
guys, I had to tell you, yeah, Playwright is here. Who is not here? Everybody's here. All right, great. I have to tell you, this has been a great couple of weeks. So thank you all so much. It's been really wonderful. And thank you for the bravo. I'm going to open up our Q&A, and you could also raise your hand. So, or you could chat. So you can come in any way you want with our attendees. So if there's somewhere on the Zoom app that you could raise your hand. And let's see, so much fun, which Louise says, so much fun, incredibly clever writing, wonderful acting, fine directing. Thank you, Mitch. A most bizarre bomb for the craziness that surrounds us. Kudos and bravo. Thank you, Mitch. And Mitch and Bruce know each other well. Mitch directed Pre-21st Century Security, so that was great. Amazing writing, amazing acting. I love this play. Thank you, Jen. I tell you what, if anybody has questions, believe me, we love the accolades. We love the attaboys. That's always a lot of fun. But we also, I have a wonderful cast here. And Allie, who has charmed basically everybody, Allie's our Randy. is just fantastic. And by the way, I promised I would say this. Allie is 10 years old and she's unrepresented. So anybody out there,
Right, baby.
there you go. I promised I would say that because she's awesome. She is just awesome. Hopefully this read. So somebody says, what did they pull out of their mouth at the very end? So hopefully this read. What they pull out of their mouths, that's the whole thing, is the, so Allie, Randy, why don't you show what they're pulling out of their mouth? Pink ribbon. You're pulling the pink ribbon out of their mouths. So obviously they have just eaten their granddaughter. So they noshed on their granddaughter.
And you were delicious, Allie.
She was. She got cast because of her taste.
Better than KFC. Better.
Sharon Shane, you are up.
Yeah. Oh God. You guys, bravo. I mean, to everyone, to the actors, the writer, the director, and watching this, I just thought that you brought the art of listening to a new high level. I had so many things that I wanted to write down that I could quote. It's a hyperbolic world, and a Jew belongs in horseradish, and just a million things. So I really loved it. Loved it. The performances, everything about it. I did have a question, but you just answered it.
Oh.
The question was, so they ate their granddaughter. Yeah. So it was great. You had to have it. But it just said so much about relationships and, getting back to a real core kind of thing. Anyway, I don't want to go on and on, take it, but Richard, my favorite. I love you. Shannon, just wonderful. Just everyone. And Jenny and Randy, just great. That's all. I don't want to go on and on.
Thanks, Sharon. John Solari, great to see you, John. Great work. Larry Jennings says, I don't feel guilty as a vegan considering cannibalistic tendencies. The acting is not good. It's bad writing. That came from Larry Jennings. There is a question. So wait a minute, let me hear. Thank you. Okay, question for Bruce. What strange and bizarre inspiration led you to the story?
The first pinch that led me, and the play changed radically, but I started to think about man's place in the universe. And I think we're pretty good, but I don't think we're as good as we think we are. So that was the basic pinch. Then it turned into the whole food dynamic, and that kind of took over. People always ask a playwright, is it the play you started out to write? And the answer for me is almost invariably no. You make discoveries, and it gets better, and you get smart people who give you their ideas, and you steal them, and and you get something better. When you were saying about the way the actors talked to each other, I didn't even know that was in the script till these particular actors did it, and now I have a much better opinion of my work.
Thanks. I'm going to read just a couple. Emily was absolutely phenomenal, beyond impressed by her delivery, commitment to the character, and emotional depth. And that's from Alyssa Billmeyer.
You're nuts.
Susan B. asks, is there a plan to put this on stage after the quarantine? I can tell you that I've already said something to Bruce about a future of the play, and who knows? But Bruce, you could certainly answer that question.
Yeah, I'm a mad dog. I'm going to do what it takes until they plant me, because that's what you got to do. It's we're in a very competitive business. A lot of us are flying around, and the landing strip is tiny. But you got to keep pushing forward, getting it better, and I believe, and I have a wife with a good job. So.
Wonderful. I'll read a couple more. Amazing writing and acting. Love this play. Go back. My favorite line was to love, honor, and saute, which is very funny. Thanks, Jonathan. Marcia, thank you. She says, also wonderfully acted and directed. Thank you. And Mitch Levine has a follow-up, and he says, yes, but what was the original inspiration, if you're not able to identify?
Well, it's very odd, but the original version had them talking about man's place in the universe, and at the end, Allie's character comes in to save the grandfather, and extraterrestrials come down and take everybody away. Now, most people, I liked it, my wife liked it, but a lot of people said that went too far. So the real inspiration started out to be, how is man in the universe? And let's cool our duels here. We're not all that. So it's basically anti-humanism. but it changed because I had a particular director I worked with who kind of nudged me into the dynamic, the food dynamic, and food is a big deal nowadays. So I want to spend time with that, and now it's basically, I think, a love story between an older couple and how they negotiate between.
Sure.
So
thank you, Bruce. I want to share also with everyone that I'm going to give Emily a little shout out here. So Emily basically trekked across the country throughout this piece. So we had her rehearsing from Wyoming. I mean, Emily, you could chime in.
I started in Illinois and Wisconsin. I performed last week in Wisconsin. I rehearsed every day this week in a different state. I was in South Dakota, Wyoming. I'm in Utah now. I haven't quite made it home, but we'll get there. So it's been interesting. I'm glad to have done it.
She's already taken this play on the road.
Exactly.
That's sort of the beauty of this platform. You know, every once in a while we'll get somebody who will say, I'm coming from Hawaii. I'm an audience from Hawaii or Japan, or it happens all over the world. But also, I mean, Emily was on her phone, and as long as she had a signal, she was in rehearsal. So, which was great. And we certainly made it work. And
well, I'd love to say something about the genius, therefore, of smartphone theater. And to congratulate you on 17 or 18 weeks of maintaining this community, of creating this community, of giving artists something to do, and you know, new people to connect with. And I hope that we all reflect our appreciation by visiting that tip jar, because $5 more, whatever. I think smartphone theater deserves our support. Thank you, Todd.
And that's on the website. The tip jar is on the website. So, and also just to give also smartphone theater to add on that is that we didn't start, you know, there's companies that are doing this. We didn't start with a company. It was really an idea and a lot of good, very talented friends. So, and that's really how it started. So I reached out I had an idea, you know, as a director and knowing a lot of writers and knowing a lot of actors, and said, we need a place. We need a place to work, and made some calls. The first one was Gina Acosta, and Devon has written a piece, and I will absolutely do more. So this is the first time we actually have Devon on her feet as an actor, and it was a pleasure. It was just wonderful. So so yeah, and then it's grown. So our audience has grown. Our I'll call it our company has grown. The amount of people who have joined in, it's now going coast to coast. Bruce came into this through word of mouth. He's out of New York. So, and we are actually booked up now through October, which is fantastic. So we have shows every Friday now through October. So I'm thrilled that it has caught on, and hopefully it will continue to do so. Shirley Snyderman says, I thought she was giving them KFC a la mode. Oh, funny. Angela Harrison says, yay, Bruce. Zully says, great commitment from everyone, appropriately twisted. It's great. I'm thrilled, and I'm getting texts and Q&As and hands, and if anybody has any more questions, we'll give this a couple more minutes. Other than that, you know, I'll wish you guys a happy trip home tonight, and hope that everybody's really. Lisa Richards. Oh, Lisa.
Lisa.
We love Lisa. Let me just unmute you. So Lisa, you're on. You just have to unmute on your end.
How did you end up knowing it was the granddaughter they ate? I was a tiny bit confused at the very end whether they were ecstatic that, or shocked? I didn't know what was. So Richard, what was your reaction when you found out?
I was
You were shocked?
Yeah.
But were you horrified?
I was like absorbing the fact that I ate my granddaughter and this crazy woman is telling me what I've done. And I was sort of like in between. I didn't get the
I
horror.
see. Okay. It's very Ionesco. So Bruce, how did you end up with the granddaughter?
I had in the first version, I had her escaping because I was a little morally offended at eating. But
No, I mean,
Got over that.
But the narrative took over, and you know, so somebody, but and that it just seemed logical, sick extension. Were you surprised when they ate the child? Was everyone?
I knew they were going to do that. For some reason, I figured they were going to do it.
That's always a
But
question.
what I wasn't totally clear on was how they felt about it. I mean, it should be an enormous something. Either it's that they've reached the grace of God. I mean, I'm just asking. I just felt. I don't know. I would like to know. I would like to know whether this is their apotheosis,
No.
or the nadir, or
No,
the.
I think it's in here. I just think we didn't do it. I don't think it's like we're thrilled. I think it's, oh my God.
Yeah.
Right.
I think in a real rehearsal period, we would have exercises to get it.
No. I mean, I thought you all did a great job. I'm just talking about the play. I'm actually asking about.
I think they're revolted.
Yeah, it's great.
I think they realize they are in fact hoist by their own petard.
Petard.
With his own petard. And that's painful, as you know. So so I think it's a horrible moment for them.
Okay.
At least actually, I'll answer it as a director. So I didn't want them jumping out of their skin and jumping to the ceiling, quite honestly. I wanted it to be sort of this subtle realization and then a quick cut to black.
Fade away.
Where there would be the birds and the music. So that realization of theirs is only a couple beats before it's the same realization of the audience. So to have everybody sort of come into that awareness together, as opposed to have the grandparents have this realization, then they do this startling reaction, which I think suddenly the audience is going to be reacting off of that reaction as per to what, instead of what just happened. And this sort of segues into, I'll take 1 minute. We have a question from Buffy who says, can you talk a little bit about the directing process in this unusual format? So Buffy, the honest answer is it's not that unusual to me anymore because we've done this now since March. So there is, there's a comfort level. Believe me, I used to have flop sweat here as I'm pressing the buttons in order to make everything go. And that was sort of because you're not only directing, but you're also stage managing at the same time to make sure that everything works. And this show is a little bit more tech heavy than our previous ones, but honestly, there are certain things, I'm always looking for ways to push the envelope from a visual place, because in the beginning, we just had people sitting in front of the computer and then we would rehearse. And, you know, as a director, I'm stage and screen. And this is a combination of, Richard said early on, he's like, hey, this is live TV, which is very much of what this is. It's a combination of live TV, radio, obviously film and theater. So it's all of that combined into one. And now it's taking the format and expanding on it. So you'll see other theaters where people come in, they have the script and it's off on one side and they do a wonderful job as a reading. I don't call smartphone theater a reading. I call it something beyond. Because everybody's still on book, although Emily and Allie, I think you guys were somewhat off book. Amazing, which is really amazing. But that's not a requirement. The requirement is to stay on book, but still have fun, be able to work your camera, be able to, understand the movement. This is a very intimate medium. because when people get closer to the camera and closer to the lens, it becomes much more intimate. You see reactions on their face. So we use all of that. That's all combined into that. So I have fun. I love it. It's, you know, this is a great time for me.
You're good at it.
Oh, thank you. With a good play, I'm even better. So it's great. Thank you, Bruce. Kate Kaplan says, maybe it's that they're horrified. It tasted wonderful. The ultimate hedonist. That's it. That's quite interesting.
Another way to go. So
Yeah.
what the hell?
Yes. I just want to say Janet Esposito. She says, very entertaining. Thank you so much for filling a very missed void of live performance. I'm a school friend of Bruce's and so proud of him. Regards, Janet Esposito Cherskin. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Cherskin. Bruce?
Shaw Avenue School together, man. We all marched with Shaw.
Yes. There you go. And then we have some more yay Bruces. All right, great.
Oh, I have one idea.
Sure.
Oh, I have just one idea. If they took a braid, if they each took a braid out of their mouth,
That's a big braid.
Oh,
then I would really know what was happening. I thought that, see, the ribbon to me, you had to tell us afterwards, show what came out of your mouth. But maybe the braid.
I mean, in an ideal surreal world, they would have a little they would go.
Exactly.
But that strange credulity that they would eat that stuff. So I don't know.
Yeah. We would, you know, something when we go on the road, we'll figure it out. So, yes.
You should only be so lucky.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. We're working on it. Is there anybody else? Any other questions, thoughts? We have you know, really, you guys are just amazing. And I expect big things from Allie. So this time next year, I hope you still take my call. So I may have to work through your agent, your manager, your lawyer, and everybody else. So, but you're fantastic. And I really believe that Allie has a wonderful future, as does everybody. It was such a pleasure and an honor to work with you guys. So thank you so much.
Wonderful cast. Thank you.
Anybody have any final thoughts? Anybody want to say anything before we say goodbye? No, that's it. All right, Emily, for this time tomorrow, you're probably going to be in who knows where.
I have a question. Can I now really eat this chocolate cake?
Oh,
Absolutely.
oh, man.
bye. Thank you.
All right, guys.
Thank you so much.
I just want to thank everybody so much for all you did for this play, your ideas, and your sparkling personalities. Thank you so much. You were great, and I love you.
It's been a wonderful time. Thank you all very much. All right, audience, we'll see you next week. All right, bring a friend. See ya. Bye.